Let's take a look at what's happening in Los Angeles. Obviously, the riots overnight, we've had 100 arrests. Things pretty calm. This is outside federal buildings in Los Angeles, California today. Things looking a lot calmer than they did over the last couple of days. In fact, it's so calm that National Guardsman's yawning, which is a good sign. You want to see people yawning and bored in a situation like this. The Marines are on their way, so Trump has greenlit them. They're coming. This is scenes from yesterday. They are on the way. There are more National Guardsmen and women who are coming in as well. These scenes were from yesterday. So far, it's just gone about just after midday in Los Angeles at the moment. So far, so calm, at least from this vantage point. Let's go to Channel 9's US correspondent, Jonathan Kearsley, who is with us now. Jonathan, good morning. How was it, because it's, I think, midday your time now, how was it overnight?
Kia ora, Ryan, and hello to everybody in New Zealand. Look, obviously, it was a very tense scene overnight. I think what we've seen over the course of the last few days is things tend to be a little bit calmer during the morning, and that's what we've been through now. And then we get into the afternoon, and normally you see a situation probably about 3 or 4 hours from now where police start to make moves to try and disperse crowds that have been gathered in downtown Los Angeles. I suppose the clock's ticking now to see whether that is what happens again this afternoon. Hundreds of protesters were in the city yesterday, right through until probably 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. As you mentioned, there were 100 arrests or so yesterday. But we saw fires lit, we saw fireworks thrown at police firing rubber bullets and tear gas. We were tear gassed at one point in amongst the mix of the crowd trying to make their way away from these scenes. And they are very dangerous, particularly in those evening hours when scenes really start to get tense. It was probably 6 o'clock local time yesterday when things really started to heat up again, not to the same extent we saw on the day prior, but the police tried to move the crowd on. They tried to get them out of the city, but all that essentially did was disperse them into other parts of downtown LA. And what we saw were sporadic spot fires of protests that would last for a couple of hours on end, standoffs, bottles would be thrown, fireworks would be thrown. We saw police cars trashed, smashed with skateboards, glass bottles. It really is a tense scene. Anybody who thought that yesterday might have given some sort of reprieve, well, they're highly mistaken. And now, as you mentioned, there's 700 Marines who have been mobilized in the Los Angeles area, ready to come in. That could just add to the tension on the streets. We've now got California Governor Gavin Newsom trying to essentially put a stop to this. He's put a motion before a court here in Los Angeles to try and get those Marines stopped, the military action stopped, and he's asked the court to respond in a matter of hours. So look, the clock really is ticking. Let's see what unfolds in the hours ahead.
Yeah, can you just level with us? Because we've heard from a couple of different reporters and correspondents on our news here in New Zealand. The implication from some is that the police, well, not the police, but the National Guard are the ones who are actually starting this. That somehow their arrival and their actions kicked the violence off, that there was no violence before they arrived and now there's violence. Is that true?
Well, you talk to the protesters, you talk to LA officials, you talk to California officials, and they will tell you exactly that it was Donald Trump mobilizing the National Guard in his own right, overruling or overarching the California governor for the first time since what has happened since 1965 to essentially have the president in control of the National Guard. And they will certainly tell you that their arrival increased the tension on the streets. Yesterday, there was a standoff outside a federal immigration facility where maybe 10 or 15 National Guardsmen stood alongside Customs and Border Protection Police for the best part of 2 hours, face-to-face with these protesters, many of them masked, hurling abuse constantly. The police under great pressure, the National Guard under great pressure. But again, as I say, you talk to the protesters, you talk to the LA County officials here, and they will tell you it is the president's move to bring in the National Guard. And now to add in the Marines, that is certainly adding to the tension. The LAPD had insisted that they didn't think the National Guard was necessary. They kind of shifted on that position the other night. But certainly Karen Bass, the mayor here in LA, is saying that LA could control this themselves. They could handle it themselves. But this is a political stoush as well as being a stoush on the streets. It's Donald Trump feuding, fighting, almost at war with the state of California.
Jonathan, appreciate your time this morning. Jonathan Kearsley from Channel 9 Australia reporting with us from Los Angeles. It is 11 minutes after 7 now. Trump has spoken overnight from the Oval Office. We've also had the Secretary of Defence, Pete Hegseth, sort of backing up what Trump had to say. Here's a clip.
ICE ought to be able to do its job, whether it's Minneapolis or
Chairman,
Los
I have
Angeles.
limited time. I asked a budget
And they are
question.
being-
Could the Secretary please address the budget? Thank you.
You asked about the situation in Los Angeles, and we believe
Asked about
ICE
the budget.
agents should be
I
allowed to be
asked about the
safe in
budget,
doing
sir.
their operations, and we have deployed National Guard and the Marines to protect them in the execution of their duties, because we ought to be able to enforce immigration law in this country.
You would have had a horrible situation had I not sent them in. Horrible. You'd be reporting on a lot of death and a lot of destruction that's not going to take place. I think if you look, every night it got less and less. They were met with very strong force, the bad people, the bad, sick people that do what they do.